Hello everyone, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to do a little maintenance session on this terrarium that's been overgrown for quite a few months now. We have about 3 or 4 different mosses in here, but they've just overgrown and they just look a little messy, so we're just going to trim them back, especially this one here, this Plagimonium. I think it's a Fine. So let's start with this. Yeah, it's the tallest, so I'm going to use these spring scissors. Curved spring scissors, very handy, but you can use anything, just normal small scissors work. Just chop it off like that, really easy. I'm basically just looking to reshape it, get rid of any dead ends and just make it look a little nicer. The cool thing about aged terrariums is that the moss starts to grow in places that you didn't originally plant it, like on the rocks especially. There's a few little wispy pieces, but they definitely weren't there before. So I'm just cutting it back, just getting a little lower, and then I'm just going to pick it out with I'm going to start using my tweezers. This moss at the back here is especially thick and wiry, so I'm going to take it down quite a bit, probably to the level of the glass, maybe a little bit lower, and towards the back. As I mentioned, there was around 3 or 4 different types. The bushiest on the back here that's a nice clump, isn't it? Let's get this off with the tweezers, it's a little bit caught. This moss on the back here is a Plagimonium type, which does really well inside terrariums, but if it doesn't get enough light or airflow, I believe, plays a part in it, it grows very stringy. So it grows tall and the leaves aren't as big as they should be, as if it was in an open air terrarium, which is growing really well in the Wabikusa right next to it. You can't see the moss on this shot, but the same type is in there and it's growing full leafed, and it has just moisture from below and a really good light above. And this one that we're trimming right here did not have very good light, and I let it dry out a number of times as well, so I didn't treat it as well as I should. So let's treat it well now. We'll give it a nice trim, a revamp, and make him feel great. This little fuzzy piece of moss on top here, I'm not sure what type of that is, but we'll leave him be. So I'm just pressing down these wispy pieces of moss into the dirt which I put on the rocks. I sprinkled some dirt on the rocks when I made this, so I'm pushing the wispy moss in there so it gets stuck and then grows out of it and hopefully spreads. Let's continue to cut this stuff at the back. It's super thick. Yeah, the orange pieces you see at the back, it's not brown moss, it's the rhizoids, which have just gotten so thick and matted together. And the rhizoids are the little hairs that the moss uses to grip to things. So I'm not sure where it was trying to grip to, but they're growing like crazy back there. So let's just continue to trim chunks off. There we go. This terrarium's particularly easy to maintain, even though I haven't been doing it, because it's open topped. And it has like a bell dome over the top of it, which traps the moisture inside. But it doesn't even fit very well. It just sits on this terracotta dish below it, so I really do need to get a better dome for it, which has better clarity, because the one I'm using is quite terrible. I can't enjoy the terrarium at all, really. Just get these little bits off. So I like the idea of cutting down this moss in the back, so it's like a little hill going behind the mountain. So let's continue to do that. Actually, I'm going to get rid of these brown tips on this, I think it's Anemodon rostratus, which recently was renamed and put in a completely different genus, I believe. So yeah, it was growing well to begin with, and as I mentioned, I let it dry out, so the tips got a little bit brown, but underneath is totally fine. It's growing green, bright green shoots. You might be able to see. Yeah, it should be okay. I'm having second thoughts about this piece right here. I might take it out actually and swap it with a fresh piece. Just give an extra bit of brightness to this terrarium, which is totally fine to do if you find a piece of moss in your terrarium is not looking very well. Just take him out of there and replace it. So let's get this one out. So this is Anemodon rostratus. Actually, it's been renamed. I'll try and I'll post the new name of it. There it is. It's not looking too good, but I'm going to put it in one of my boxes and we'll bring that back. I have another piece on the other side anyway, so we're going to put this in instead. Let's use this. It's a nice piece of Podgemonium cuspidatum, I believe this is, which I got out of my backyard. I have plenty of it growing in a certain spot. So we'll just push that down in there. Don't be afraid of being a little rough with your moss. It's quite strong. It's not very fragile. Just clean off that there. Alright, let's continue with what we were doing. We got totally sidetracked by that piece of moss there. So I'm just going to continue to taper down on this side. Closest to the glass, I'm going to taper down even more, so it leaves a little more of a gap there. It's just like a big spongy carpet. It's grown in crazy. There's all kinds of rhizoids, as I mentioned. It looks a little brown, but those are the hairs that it uses to grow and grip. It's like trimming the grass on a mini yard. It's quite relaxing to do, actually. I hope you're enjoying watching it. Thanks for sticking around this long. I know it's a little lengthy, but I want to show you what it's like to maintain one of these things. I know I have a few more on my Instagram TV account if you want to check those out from earlier last year. I think we're almost done with this side. Yeah, so that's looking alright. Oh, look at this. You can see that. We'll just get that off. Just continue the taper down to the front. Just pushing the blade against the glass. And as I say, you can use just small nail scissors or sewing scissors, something like that. I used big chunky scissors before. No, I used big long aquarium scissors, and they really hurt my fingers. So these are a dream, these little guys. Just chop this little Podgemonium piece at the front here. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, just, say how it's spelt. Hope for the best, really. Alright, it's looking okay. I may take a little bit more off. Just fanning it out so it doesn't look all too uniform. You want a little bit of a natural look to it after the trim. Okay. Alright, I think that's looking okay. Let's give it another spin. Check out the other side. There's a few stragglers. A few stragglers are okay, I guess, but you want to get the ones that just don't look. You've got to use your eyes and just you know, if some sticking up a bit too far, don't be afraid to be aggressive with your trimming, because moss will come shooting back, especially if it's gotten to this stage. This moss in the back is actually probably 2 inch deeper than what you can see here down behind the glass. It's looking much better. Look at this pile we've got. It's crazy. So that anemodon, formally, I'll put in my box, and I'll probably dispose of the rest. So there we go. I think it looks much better now. I've cleaned off the glass, give it a good spray down. I've added a few more springtails in there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll do another one soon. I've got plenty more to maintain. Got so many terrariums.